Welcome to another episode of the Brown Spade Podcast Show. Well, earlier we was going to do a show, but we got canceled with a special guest. So hopefully we could do that tomorrow. So today we're doing a show. Um, it's called Time versus Money. Time versus Money. A while back, I wake up very early. So a while back, I was looking at, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this photograph. It was a cartoon. And I resonated with it. It was a man, he was young. He was chasing money. And he was collecting money as he was on the chase. And as he was collecting money, he was getting older. And by that time, he reached an old man. He was able to grab all the money that was floating around. But he was at the end of his life. So let's go. All right. So once again, I got my brother from another mother, Cleveland, with me. And again, I gave you guys the introduction on the time versus money, but also me and Cleveland, we have a lot of discussions anyway. So we had a previous discussion as well a couple of days back. And he was like, hey, man, write that down. Make sure you, I said time versus money. He said, write that down. So, yeah. So I wrote it down. And the thing about time, I mean, we live in a society. We live in a world, really. A world where money is important. Don't get me wrong. Money is important. You can't live without it. You need funds to live in the world, no matter where you are. But one thing about life, and I'm talking about the average person, I'm talking about working people. This message to you. A poor man wishes to be rich. A rich man wish he had more time.
Mm-hmm.
And in life, some of us are fortunate to get it and still live it. Some of us are not. Most of us not, because we're in a society now where they use the term chasing the bag, chasing the bag. And in my opinion, we have became a society where we worship money. We don't understand how money works. So the table is open, my brother. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, just growing up, just thinking, I got to get to this money, got to get to this money, got to get this money, got to get to this money.
Mhm.
Um, and me growing up, I always thought that, my meaning of rich when I was younger is totally different from my meaning of rich now. Because it's not really, now I understand, it's not really how much money you make. I mean, it's important for you to make amount of money where you could, support your family. But it's what you do with your money. It's what you do with your money. And people will work until they 65 to retire and then die in 5 years
Or less.
or less. it them numbers just don't make sense. So I realized this. I realized as far as chasing money, I realized that you would never catch money because it's numbers. Numbers never stop. Like look, if you look at Bill Gates, he's one of the richest men in the world, if not the richest man in the world.
No,
And
he's not the richest man in the world. That's Elon Musk. But go ahead.
yeah, he's one up. He's one up. And
He used to be.
huh?
He used to be the
Yeah,
richest man in the world.
yeah. He's one up. He's one up.
Okay.
Come on. I mean, billions to billions is billions. Like, I mean, what do you got? What do you got? 10 billion more than him? Like, come on. I mean, they billionaires.
Yeah, they're billionaires.
Yeah. So my point is, he even with all that money he has, he still wants to make more money. For what? For what? It's like it's a contest now. Just like you said, no, Elon Musk is, and I'm willing to bet you, Bill Gates sitting there saying, "I need to get that title back again." For what? It gets to the point where it's greed. But guess what? He can't take that with him when he go. He can't take it with him when he go, and he's not gonna even leave majority of it to his kids because he know what it would do to them.
Right.
So I started realizing, like, because I was, working, on my first marriage. I was working, feeling like I got to make the money, got to be able to provide. We got to make the money, be able to provide. And I was, driving trucks. So, but it was so much time that I missed not being, to certain things, in my
home.
Yeah, in my daughter's life that I was sacrificing money for time, thinking I have enough time to play catch up. And it wasn't until, I started talking to, to truck drivers, the drivers that been on the road, they 60 years on, they tell me, yeah, man, I'm gonna retire 10 years from now. I'm like, God damn, like, is it legal for you to still be driving? I'm talking about, I see these guys barely could walk. And that just started just like changing my, like, wait a minute, I don't want to be that dude.
Right.
I don't want to be that dude. And then I'm listening to them, talk about their kids and all the problems and issues. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, this is not what I want. Like, I want my time back. I got to get my time back.
Yeah.
I can always get this money back, but I can never get this time back.
Yeah. You can lose money. I mean, you can lose money and gain it back, but you can never gain back time. Mm-hmm. Time is something, no matter how much money you have, you can't buy back time. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, brother.
No. You're fine. No, I'm just saying, like, it's just we was taught to, you got time, get to the money.
Yeah. I remember I was working on my part-time job. This was years ago on the ambulance truck. And we pulled up to this house. Man, house was immaculate. We go inside. It's a white guy. Got a wife. No kids. I think either he had no kids or the kids were grown. And when we went to go pick him up, he was paralyzed. His wife was healthy. His house was immaculate. It was so clean you could eat off the freaking floor. I mean, I never forget it. You could look at his closet. If the closet was open, you could see all. He had the nice wood clothes hanger. The wood.
Yeah, wooden clothes hanger. Yeah,
wooden clothes hanger. I mean, he had his stuff all the way to the T. And he was a truck driver too, so that's what made me think about it. And every time we go pick him up, he talked about how he worked and saved his money, and then boom, I forget what made him get in that condition. It wasn't a car wreck; it was something else dealing with his health. And every time I see that man, every time I pulled up to his house, I say, man, And he said, man, yeah, my house paid for. I paid cash for it, you know, da 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 da. And I got this and all that paid for. And I said, man, he he got everything financially, but he don't have his health. House paid for. And man, and I tell you, and I used to just ponder, man. I used to be looking, I used to wonder about his wife, you know, which wasn't my business. I said, well, damn, well, if he's can't move and stuff, like she don't want, she got a need, you know. And I wasn't trying to be funny. I was thinking that because, and then every time, and again, I'm not accusing her or anything, but it's just my mind. But I noticed every time we picked them up, she would be ready to hop in her car and take off. You know, the house, she made sure you got everything you need. So she waiting on us at the door, greet us. Soon as we get them and put them on the back of that ambulance truck, man, she jump in that car, boop, she pull off. And then right before we bring them back, she try to beat us there. And I said, well, damn, what the hell, you know, where did she go? But anyway, let me get back on track. Time versus money. But it's sad that this man worked his tail off and he could not enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Yeah. And I'm not, we're not saying that people should not work, you know, because, you know, I enjoy, you know, working and, you know, getting up, you know, being able to provide for my family and everything. Yeah. But it's just the thought process of me thinking that, you know, I got to get to that money in order for me to be able to be successful, because that's another problem. We think that money equals success, and it don't.
Right.
It don't. Money does. You know what success is what you see when you look in the mirror in the morning. That's success. You know, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and you know, he was down. He was kind of down. He was upset with, you know, just the way his life had turned out. And I'm looking at him like, I asked him, I said, why are you so he's like, man, because financially I'm not where I want to be. And so I looked at him, I said, because we went and had lunch, and I told him, I said, I could put you in my car. We could ride around. I said, I could take you to a place where people will give their life to be in your situation. And he was like, where? I said, I could take you to the cemetery.
Right.
And pull up, and I'm willing to bet you if anybody in that place over there will get a life to be in your situation. I said, you think that success is money. I said, let me tell you what success is. I said, we grew up in the 70s, in the 80s. Right. We grew up during, you know, the crack epidemic, you know, the AIDS epidemic. I said, we grew up, you know, during a time when, you know, guys was going to jail, doing 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Mass incarceration.
Yes, mass incarceration. I said, brother, you made it through all that and you still here. I said, I said, we both made it through all that. I said, if that's not success, I don't know what is. Right. I said, because you talk about epidemic, like the crack epidemic, man, that was rough.
Yes.
It was rough. The AIDS epidemic, it came through there and wiped. I seen doctors and nurses and people who was good providers for their family turn into zombies damn near overnight. I said, you didn't get strung out. You didn't become an alcoholic or a drug addict. I said, you didn't catch it. I said, it's so many things that out there that took a lot of our people out. I said, you still here, bro. I said, that's success. If that's not successful, I don't know what is.
That's real.
I told him, I don't know what is. I said, no, you may not have the money you want. I said, but I'm willing to bet you, man, that it's some people who got it worse than you. I said, cut on the news and just sit there and watch the news. Just sit there and watch the news. And I promise you appreciate your life more. You know, he you know, he got emotional and was like, you know, I didn't look at it like that. I said, yeah, man. I said, we never do. We never do. I said, but we have so much, you know, to be grateful for. and money does not make you successful. It just don't.
No, but we live in our society has taught us that, and again, you need money to be in this society, but I will say this: how much money you think you need? That's a case by case basis.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that too. That it's a case by case basis, but you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be a billionaire. It sounds good. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if you could become that, I mean, so be it. But what the thing is,
very small percentage of
when we're talking time and money, we're talking about at some point you have to have balance.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have balance. You got to have time for the family. If you got a family, you got to have time. Even if you don't have a family, you have to have time for yourself. You spend half of the day. The average job is 8 hours. You're going to get up at least an hour and a half to 2 hours just to prepare to get up and go to work, because you have to go for that commute. You have to drive. So, and you have to spend that same amount of time, if not close to it, coming back home. By the time you come back home, that's 12 to 14 hours you have given to that job. Now, by the time you get home, the only thing you want is a hot meal and a hot shower. Now, God forbid if you got kids, God forbid if you got a significant other, and you got to have time for them. You got to have this balance. And so you're going to have to ask yourself, do I have balance? And if you don't have balance, try to find that balance. So yeah, for me, and I'm glad that I met my wife, because I consider myself, I was a workaholic myself. I worked my tail off. I've been working 2 jobs. I was working 2 jobs for 20 plus years. I've always had a second part-time job, working different jobs. And one day it was time for me to because I retired a little early, but my wife asked me, she said, well, how much money do you need? And when she said that, because I was like, if I leave now, I have this. If I stay here, I get this. She said, well, how much do you need? And when she told me that, I mean, something just went over. I was like, you know what, man? Because she was like, she just wanted me to come home. She just wanted, your husband should be home with his wife. This is what my wife telling me. So when she's talking to me, I'm listening, because I always try to listen with an attentive ear. And I said, man, she's right. So that made me push my plan in active mode.
Yeah.
Because I realized that I didn't need all I thought I had, and I'm gonna be okay. Jeremy White, what's going on, brother? He said, bad. Let me put it up here. Batman and Robin, Pippin and Jordan, love seeing y'all, brothers. Love you, big bro. Love you too, man. Thank you, man, for the shout.
Hey, word up. Good stuff.
Appreciate it. But yeah, man, time is something that the most valuable thing you have is not your account. It's your time. Your time is the most valuable thing. The most valuable commodity you have is your time.
Because you'll be gone. You'll be gone. I remember reading. I was reading when I was taking real estate class, and they just was talking about what do rich people, what do poor people talk about all the time? What do rich people talk about all the time? And what wealthy people talk about all the time? And one of the things was, poor people talk about money all the time. All the time. Money. And he said rich people talk about the things that they can buy with money, And he said wealthy people talk about the future. They talk about goals, they talk about, you know, um, ideals, plans, And when I read that, I was like, wow, like, And he also talks about, and I also learned, it talked about just the older you get, the less, the less stuff you need. Yeah, the less stuff you need, and what you of course you're gonna need shelter. You're gonna need to be able to provide for your family if you still have a family. If you have a spouse, y'all be able to. But the older you get, I meet people in our age, they 50 and 60, and their kids graduate, and then they go off and sell their house and go get a bigger home, and they be like, because this is for my child, and most of these kids are not even thinking about moving to the city or the state where you live at. And if they do, once you leave here, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna sell that and reap the money. So it's like you gotta really understand, when you turn 60, where you want to be. When you turn 50, where you want to be. You shouldn't want and need the exact same thing. You shouldn't want no big house. I mean, I understand you may have grandkids that's gonna come over, but they coming and they going. They not staying. They just not. And you most of us don't raise our kids to carry on a tradition. We just don't. We want them to follow in our footsteps, and we didn't raise them that way.
Right.
We just didn't.
Right. So Jeremy got time is absolutely most valuable. My son and me are going out to the movies. My son asked me about going to the movies with this girl, and first comment to home was, "What makes worthy of your time?" So then he also replied. He also wrote, "My first comment to him was, what makes her worthy of your time?"
Your time, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, Jeremy, to add to that, bro, is I realized too that in life, a young man don't value time. Once when you start getting of age, when you get your age, where you are, Jeremy, when you get my age, you value time. See, right now, what you just told your son, he might get it, but most kids won't get it. And I'm telling you, 99.9 won't get it. And so maybe he that 1% that gets it. But I'm telling you, he'll hear you 10 more years from now when he get a little more age up under his belt. But I don't know. But maybe he's a quick learner. I don't know.
But the thing is, he can't say he never heard it. That's the most important thing.
And that would never leave his ears, because you dropped the gem on your son, and I don't even know if he realized it.
No, he would never forget it. And that's the point. We need to hear these things. We need to have these conversations. Instead of telling our kids, go out here and get to the money and chase the money and all that.
We became to worship money. I think, and that's
how much time do you think you have to get to this money? How much time you think you got?
Right. Huh? We've been taught to get the money and be materialistic. And so I got another story too, man. Is I remember in my early years as a firefighter, and it was this captain. I'm not going to call his name. May he rest in peace. Man, he always was talking about when I retire. Now, his time, he was like 2 years out, Cleve. He was like 2 years out, because in the city they want you to do 30 years, 30 years. So he was like, yeah, I got 2 more years to go, and da. And we were rooting for him. Humble guy, good guy. He was a little heavy set guy. And one day, man, we came into work. His crew, he wasn't with my crew. We was the relief crew, because we was on B shift, so he was on A shift. So we came in, his crew, everybody was looking sad. They was down, depressed. Come to find out, he had a heart attack. And that was another moment for me, way before I got to my point of retiring. This is years ago. This is maybe 13 years ago. And I saw his wife, and she came up, and she was humble. She accepted the fact that he had passed away, and she just talked about the good times. She never talked about the bad times. But he used to have all these plans. Yeah, me and my wife gonna do this. A devoted husband. And man, it used to hurt me just to hear him, because I heard his vision, I heard his vision. I heard he shared his dreams. And he never got a chance to live those dreams. He never got a chance to ride out in the sunset as he visioned of retiring.
Because he thought he had tomorrow.
Thought he had it.
Thought he had tomorrow.
He thought he had it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Clee, that never left me, man. That was I'm telling you, I've had nuggets and nuggets and nuggets, and I try to catch them, and when it hit me, I'd be like, well, why does it still here? If I wake up the next day, it's still here. Why they left my mind? Why they left my heart? You know, those are the times I have to keep and apply those things.
That's why it's important. That's why I talk purpose all the time. I talk purpose all the time. Because when you're on your purpose and when you value, your time and when you value your time, you pretty much try to live your life out. Man, listen, I've traveled the past 7 to 8 years. I've traveled more in the past 7 to 8 years than I have in my whole entire life, Daniel.
Yeah.
I didn't touch several continents.
That's a good thing.
Seen all types of things, and that I give credit to my wife because she wants to travel. That she don't care about spending money on clothes. She don't care about spending money on. She wants to travel. And at first I used to, like, I don't know. Come on now. I don't.
Yeah, you watching the budget.
that and the fact that I'm like, listen, black folks, we can't just be traveling, just having that mindset, like we can't just be going to these folk countries. Hey, what's going, But then the more and more I started traveling, the more and more my mind started opening up. Like, yeah, like this is what we supposed to be doing. That's the point of planes, trains, and automobile. Like we supposed to travel. And
hold on a second. Yo, Melvin. Yes. Actually, I'm doing a show right now. So we'll go ahead and do one tomorrow. Okay, we're going tomorrow. Yeah, yes, sir. Oh, okay, brother Melvin. We'll talk tomorrow.
Oh, we can talk, but you're doing a show right now.
I'm doing a show right now. Okay, I will. All right.
Real time. Sorry about
that. Oh man. But okay, what we got, Jeremy? When a man finds his purpose, his time is never wasted.
That's true. That's exactly
what he's designated and ordained to do.
Yeah, that's true.
You sound like old deacon in there, boy. Where you been, boy?
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's what I was saying. I appreciate you finishing my word, but yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah,
because
very well said.
Once you start finding your purpose, man, like your time, to me, it seemed like time started slowing down for me. When I was moving, running, chasing, it's like boom, 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 time was flying. But now that man, now that I understand that I don't have to make all this money. I just don't. I can money that I make, make use to it, make use with it. Like don't blow it, in anything you want to do, you plan for it. You just plan for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, it's one of those things where I'm so happy now because I realized that in time I realized to accept the things, be appreciative of the things that you already have. Mm-hmm. Because when I was working my butt off, I was, I was like a machine, but I didn't have the balance because but then when I got my purpose, Once when I was on my mission, now I know where my destination is. Now now it's all, I'm gonna make it all make sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it all make sense now. So that's when I had to put that plan in motion.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, man, because of those incidents that happened, like I told you with that captain, man, I felt like what's that dang on movie with Al Pacino, Carlito's Way.
Carlito's Way. Yeah.
Dude, I felt like as the closer I got, I felt like Carlito's Way because I felt like I was escaping something crazy.
And Daniel, I man, I just think about the conversation I have had with just over the past, and I'm gonna tell you, just me changing my whole diet and my whole thought process or whatever. Like, it's like I have conversations with people and I'll be like, damn, like, where did that come from? But I know where it came from. It come from, people have said things to me because I'm one who listen. I listen, especially if it's your experience. I'm gonna listen to you, and if I see your outcome and you tell me this is, I'm gonna really look at it. That's why I didn't have kids at a young age. I had my first child. Well, I had my first and only child at 27. Which that could be, people consider that young, but I don't think that's young. Not when all my friends were having them at 15, 16, 17, at a young age. Right. But I was talking to a friend, and this guy he was trying to get, his business start off in trucking, right? So he every time he would get right there, boom, something go wrong. And he was so upset. He was pissed. He was mad. And I asked him, I said, why are you so mad? He was like, man, because I'm trying to get to what I want and where I want it or whatever. And I said, right now, what you making, is it providing for your family? And he was like, yeah, of course. I said, why are you upset that you can't go into debt? I said, you are upset because you can't go into debt, because he was trying to get a couple of trucks. in this market, the trucks are overpriced. I said, you are upset because you cannot go into debt. I said, make that make sense to me. I said, if you're able to provide for your family and do the things that you need to do now, wait till the market drop. Wait till these price of these trucks drop halfway. Why would you go into a market when there's a recession? Like, why would you go in the market stressing yourself out and trying to keep up with everybody else? I said, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brother Cleve. I also agree with you, Brother White. He said, escaping the matrix, bro, it's hard, but when you break through it, it's life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched you grow every time I see your podcast. I'm amazed at your growth. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. But I'm going to tell you, White, man, I ain't going to lie, man. I started getting paranoid at the end because just my journey, my journey alone. I mean, there's a lot of people that I grew up with, man. A lot of them, they in prison. Some of them dead. And I was right there growing up with these guys. And so it makes you feel like you in a weird space. You know what I mean? And then I moved out the hood. And then that's when I met Cleve. And then, the rest is history. But still looking back, it started feeling weird because I knew that it was about to be another chapter. And the fear is called the unknown, really, because you're accustomed to working. You've been doing it for so long, it becomes second nature.
You program.
I just told Cleve this yesterday. I said, Cleve, I feel like I'm unemployed. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
I said, I feel like I'm unemployed. I said, I feel like I need to do, and I still need to do something. I mean, I do my podcast thing, but I just still want to venture and do something else, because I still now I have the time to do it. Let me put it that way. So I just gotta just sit down and just let it come to me and be patient. That's what I have
Yeah.
to learn to do. Be patient, because I'm so used to getting up on the go, working.
Yeah.
And man, I truly have more balance now than ever before. I have no regrets in leaving early. I feel like I gave myself an extra 10 years to live
Yeah.
just leaving,
Yeah.
because White could tell you, man, them boys at that station, man. The 5-state, listen, the job is a cool job, it's a great career, but some of them cats, man, they make you want to regress.
Hey, that's
Sometimes
any
it's a
job
full-time,
institution,
it's a
man.
full-time job not to hurt somebody. Sometimes it's a full-time.
That's any job institution, man. That is any job institution, man. Institution. It's like, yeah, man. And I think about when I worked at the rail yard. And I learned a lot from them guys, man. I put it like this: never been to jail, never been locked up, don't have a record or nothing.
And that's me too. And that's I'm sorry, Cleve. I got to say this too, right?
Yeah.
Listen. Me and Cleve. I mean, I got a. We both got a pass, but we've been so fortunate. We ain't even been arrested.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. But go ahead,
Yeah.
brother.
No, but me being around these guys was just like me going to prison, because most of these guys then did time, and most of these guys were older than me.
Right.
I soaked in so much from these dudes, man. I soaked in so much from these dudes just watching, and it was crazy, because I remember when I was working there, and I found out with the guy, some of the guys who had been there since '88. I started working there in '98. They was there since '88.
Wow.
And I found out what they was making compared to what I was making, and it wasn't a 10-year gap. And I'm like,
it didn't add up.
It didn't add up. And I'm like, y'all been here this long? And I'm looking at all of the things that they value. I'm like, man, I do not want to be like this. I always look at the oldest person at any situation, and I talk to them. I would talk to the oldest person there and get insight on why are you still here? Why haven't you retired? What's this? What's that? And I just listened to them guys, man. And it wasn't I wasn't down or sad. It just motivated me to say, you know what? I can't be like this. And even and went on to trucking. The exact same thing. I'm like, I can't be like this. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's like a jungle. Sometimes it made me wonder how I keep from going under.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But
White, the baby here too, man. By the way, I know I'm jumping off subject, but yeah, she's here. So I definitely I shoot you a picture, bro.
Yeah, that's a 5-year job right there, Dan.
Yes, it is.
That's a 5-year job right there, man.
5-year job, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's just amazing, man. Just
time
and money.
People have to, but you have to think about it. And from a money perspective, you have to put something away. You have to make some form of investment. You have to do something other than just, 100% all eggs in the basket, depending on that one job. I will say that. And I met some fortunate cats, I met some fortunate cats. And they showed me a few things, and I listened because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
So, but you got to have balance. You don't have to have $1 million, but you got to have balance. You're gonna have to have residual income. You got to. You're going to, because as you get older, now here's the trick. See, this is the part I don't understand, Cleve. Some of us, when I say us, I'm talking about us black folks. Some of us, we go out here and we wait till we get an hour for, and you done went and got the raise. You done went and got your PhD. but you're in your 40s, right? Now you already have a home. Now you want a bigger home.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense.
It don't. It's just like Sadhguru. He talks about, he had a conversation with a guy. He asked him, he said, if I was to give you all the money in the world, what would you do with it? And the guy was like, man, I will buy it. He said, I give you all the money that you want. What would you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I would go buy this, go buy that, go buy this, go buy that. He said, so you mean to tell me I'm going to give you all the money that you want and you're going to give it back? You're going to give it back by spending it on all these things. Mm-hmm. He said, that lets you know that you really, it's not about the money. It's about things. It's about things. And we always want things. You know,
right.
When you get at your job, you know, you said, man, if I make $15 an hour, I'm good.
Right.
You get the $15.
Right.
Man, you're going to go out and get a bigger house or a nicer car. Man, if I get to $20 an hour,
that's how it works. That's how it works.
Get to 20.
Right.
You ain't going to be fine. You're going to go out and get a bigger house and a bigger house and a bigger car than the last one. Man, now all I need is $40 an hour.
Right.
It's on and going and going and going and going.
And now you 58.
and you still want to buy things to make up for what you think is success or happiness.
Right.
But like I said, success is what you see when you look in the mirror.
But yeah, that's true. And the key is, you know, the play for people who are up in age, the play as you get older, you're supposed to downgrade.
You're supposed to.
But a lot of us melanated people, we try to upgrade. We go in the opposite direction. And so you put more burden on yourself. You put yourself more in debt. And before you leave, when you leave here, when you expire, you left in debt. You didn't leave anything behind. You didn't make no proper investments. You didn't have the, insurance that can help you build wealth. You didn't have no kind of investments, whether it's crypto or whether it's stock market. You just didn't have anything in place. So you have to have balance. And I know I done said this word a lot. Balance. That's it.
Yeah. Because without balance, you'll be all over the place, man.
Be all over the place.
You'll be all over the place. I talked to my nephew and him, and I talk to them all the time because I had guys who was in my ear telling me, different things. And they may not get it. They hopefully they'll take it, but they can't say they never heard it. They can't say that I never told them, hey, man, listen. Pick up a trade. You out here, doing all this, doing all that. Pick up a trade. That way, when you get to a certain age or whatever, if you pick up a trade and you got a job or whatever, you could break off and do your own thing. You don't have to work for nobody. Everybody out here wants to be their own boss, but you're not built for that. Some people, you gotta have workers. Everybody can't be a chief. You gotta have some Indians. I mean, that's just the way it goes. That's the world. But if you're going to be an Indian, at least understand, what you want and where you want to be, and set them goals. But don't try to be a boss and you are in. Like I say it all the time. I listen to folks and be like, bro, you don't know how to manage $100. You talking about if you get 250 mil, you going to be able to budget. You can't even budget $500. Like, huh? He said, I have a question, big bro.
Do you think Outlook? That's a good question. That is a great question. So the question is, do you think your outlook would be the same if you was born into money? And I'm going to say yes.
I would say yes too.
Because when you're born into money, when you're born into wealth, you're getting tools that everyday people don't get. You learn at an early age that money is a tool. You learn early on in your early years to invest your money. You
Because
learn
they teach you that.
yeah,
The people that put you in a position to have that money, they're gonna teach you that.
you learn that. And
Yeah.
you learn that. I forget where I read it. I forget where I read it, but I remember I was reading a book. I think it was about John Rockefeller. And his dad came in. So Rockefeller was born rich. His dad was already wealthy. He came in the room. I want to say I don't quote me on the age. I'm just gonna say he's about somewhere between 6 to 8 years old. So here he is, a little bitty kid, don't know anything about money. Say dad came in, true story. Dad came in, showed him $1 million, showed it to him, and said, "You're gonna have to learn how to make this on your own one day." Closed the suitcase up, walked out of the room, and he became in his era one of the richest men in the world. But I'm quite sure there were other tools in between that showing him how to put money over here to buy these stocks, to buy these resources. I'm quite sure he had other tools, but I thought that was a very profound story. But go ahead.
I think it was profound because he opened it up and showed it to him. This is a mill.
Yeah.
You see that? This is a mill.
Yeah.
You could get that. We come from
in today's time, 2022, where our parents came in and showed us $1 million, and we talk about back in the 20s, 30s.
And I'm pretty sure after he said this is a mill, I'm going to show you how to get this. I'm going to show you how to get this.
Right.
That so to me,
he got his son attention when he did that.
Man, listen, with showing him the money, and I'm pretty sure he educated on him how to get the money. No, you know, we look at television and see people with jewelry, people we don't even know, and we said we want that. I want to get that. So we don't have no clue to how to get that. We don't have no blueprint. We don't have no information. We just know that that's what I want. And by the time we get to the age where we realize, shit, that is not as easy as I thought. 20 years ago, if I'd have went this route, I could probably be there. Because of course he taught him how to invest. I mean, of course he taught him how to.
But it got his attention at an early age.
Yeah.
It got him focused, because you got to think about it. For a kid, if you show a kid a ton of money like that, they never forget it. They never forget it, you know. And so from then on, I'm quite sure that you know, sparked a light bulb in his head, and he started asking his dad questions daily. But again, I'm quite sure he was able to walk in rooms and listen to his father talk to lawyers, talk to stockbrokers. I'm quite sure, yeah, he was in the room. He was at the table. So he was learning the plays early. And
you're not going to become wealthy working a 9 to 5. I don't, oh my goodness. I be hearing these folks talk. I'll be like, you know, I work for this place and soon I'm going to be moving up and I'll be doing, no, you're going to have to invest. That's how they is at the fast. Say, yeah, man, I'll get the promotion, man. That'll put me at so-and-so amount of thousand. And man, guess you still in the same boat, my guy. Yeah. Okay. You done made an extra, you know, you done got an extra $5,000 annually. I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, come on, you still on the treadmill, man. But they don't get it. Yeah. And that's the way society is designed. It's designed for us, most of us, not to get it. It's designed for us to have those distractions. Yeah. You know, to take you off your purpose, take you off your square. Yeah. But yeah, man. So my brother, what you got in closing? Hey, you know, money comes and goes, man. It really does. I didn't seen a lot of money. I didn't touch a lot of money. I didn't blow a lot of money. But it comes and goes. But time is something you just can't get back. You just can't. You just can't. You can't get it back. So I advise you to you know definitely use your time wisely and you know enjoy your time with family, because that's all that really matters, because once you're dead and gone,
Price.
listen, memories. Look, you could buy your child all these toys, all these cars, all these toy guns. They're not gonna remember that. But if you take them on a trip around the world, you take them out the country, you spend time with them. It's still things my daughter say to me, and I'll be like, "Damn, you remember that?" And it was something just simple. Time is definitely more important than money. Man, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I want to say we're about to bring this thing to a close. I want to say thank you, White, again, brother, for your support. I appreciate it, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So hopefully tomorrow we're supposed to have another show. The guy counseled on us. He'll be with us tomorrow. And I just want to end it like this. Michael Jackson was the biggest entertainer in the world. Michael Jackson can go to anybody's country, perform at a concert, people will fall out, cry. Never get a chance to touch him. Cry. Fall out. And he died years ago. But if you could ask Mike one thing, he would probably tell you he wished he had more time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steve Jobs, one of the founders, the spearhead of Apple products. When he died, he was worth $250 million. He died of cancer. Had all the money he needed. But if he could come back alive and say, hey, would you want the money? Would you want the time? And I'm quite sure he'll say, I wish I had more time.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant, fierce basketball player. If you love Jordan, you got to love Kobe because he emulated Jordan to the T. Didn't get no closer than that.
Mm-mm.
Died young man in his early 40s. Tragic death. Worth $600 million. If he could take back that day and say, hey, would you want the time or the money? I'm quite sure Kobe Bryant would say, I wish I had more time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall the movie that Denzel Washington did, but it was a gangster movie. And I'm going to end it on that note. I wish you had more time.